guys, you've all signed up for band. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about what the course is going to be about and what your choices are and all sorts of stuff like that. Okay? For starters, this is probably one of my most favorite courses to teach. I love it. I look forward to it every single week. For you, it's going to be a lot of fun and it's going to be a lot of work. Your face is going to hurt. Your hands might hurt. Your back might hurt. But that's because we're using muscles that haven't been used that way before. And whenever you start something new and your muscle isn't used to it, it tends to get a bit sore until it's used to it again. So if you practice at home and you keep bringing your instrument to school and you practice at school with me, after a couple months, it won't hurt anymore. And it'll just be fun. You have to choose an instrument. And it's important to choose the instrument that's right for you. I know a lot of people want to play what their friend is playing so that you can sit together in class, but that's not always the best idea. I can tell you, I've played a lot of these instruments, and you're going to hear me play them, and some of them I play well, and some of them I don't play well at all. Each individual has a best fit with an instrument. Some of that is about how hard you want to work on it. And some of it is actually your physical characteristics, whether your lips are the right shape, whether your mouth is the right size, whether your fingers are the right size, whether your arms are long enough. So there's all these things to take into account. But if you've got the real desire to learn it, you could totally learn any of it, any instrument you want. I'm going to play a few of these instruments that you've got your choices from, so that you can hear how it's going to sound. I'm a beginner at a lot of these, so you're going to hear how a beginner sounds on these instruments. This is a flute. It's part of the woodwind family, and it's probably one of the highest pitch instruments that you could choose to play right now. But you've got a lot of keys, and so that means, again, you need to make sure that your fingers are strong enough so that you can move quickly when it's necessary. You blow over the top, so you're not blowing air inside exactly. It's kind of splitting when it hits the top. So some air goes inside, some air goes across the top. It's kind of like blowing over the top of a pop bottle if you've ever done that. This is a clarinet. You'll see that it has a whole lot of places for fingers. Every single one of your fingers gets used on the clarinet, including your thumbs, okay? Including some of your fingers getting used in two different places at the same time. This is a woodwind instrument, and although this particular one is made out of plastic, you can get really expensive ones that are made out of wood. And it's also part of the woodwind family because it has a reed. And reeds are like pencils. They break easily. So you always need to have an extra reed or two extra reeds in your case all the time. If you're going to be a clarinet player, one of the first things you're going to do is go buy a box of reeds and keep them ready to go. Clarinet players, well, woodwind players, don't change pitch with their embouchure the way brass players do. They change it with their fingers, which means you need to really work those fingers and get the muscles in each individual finger strong enough so that you can move your fingers quickly from one key to another. This is a trumpet. It's in the brass family, and it has the highest pitch of all the instruments in the brass family. So where your tuba and your baritone horn are down in the low end, this is up in your high end. Trumpets play all sorts of different kinds of music. So you can have them in rock bands, you can have them in jazz bands, you can have them in big bands, you can have them in concert bands, you can have them in orchestras. There's a lot of different things that they can play. You've got 3 valves on top, and you buzz into the mouthpiece, same as all the other brass instruments. You change the pitch through your embouchure. Okay? This instrument, I found hard. Now, some of my good friends found it really easy. Do you remember at the beginning when I was saying you've got to make sure that you choose the right instrument for you? This one I had to really work at. And I'm happy that I did, because now I sound a whole lot better than I used to. But I had to work hard. This is a French horn. It's probably one of my most favorite instruments. I've only done a few lessons on it, so I'm still very much a beginner. And this particular French horn is actually a kinder horn. It's half the size, so it's perfect for a primary student to use. A French horn has a tenor sound, so that's like a high male voice or a very low female voice. It's really mellow, and it's got such a nice, pleasing tone to it. If you're a person who likes to sing, you probably do a very good job playing French horn. If you're a person who likes to play flute, you'd probably do a good job on French horn as well. There's only 3 valves, and you change the pitches by buzzing, similar to trumpet, trombone, or baritone horn. Can't wait to see who chooses this one. This is a kid-sized trombone. So it's made out of plastic, so it's a whole lot lighter, and it is smaller than a normal trombone, which means that if you're a primary student, or you're just really short like me, then you can still play and you can reach all the notes. This one has a slide. So there's no valves, there's no buttons, there's no keys, there's just the slide. And like all of our other brass instruments, we buzz into the mouthpiece and we change everything through changing our lips and our embouchure. So mouth still gets a workout, but your fingers, they just kind of chill out. They just hold on to the instrument. Trombone is, again, part of our bass section in the band. So sometimes it's got its own part, little solos. Sometimes it is playing the same as the French horn in the tenor area, and sometimes it's playing the same as the baritone horn down in the bass area. It's a really versatile instrument. Historically, it's a really important instrument too. There was a time when only trombones were allowed to play music in church. So you'll also see pictures of people playing trombones in all sorts of different ensembles. So if you choose this instrument, you're going to be able to play in orchestras, in concert bands, in jazz bands, in rock bands, all sorts of stuff. It's a good one to pick. This is a baritone horn. Kind of looks like a tuba, but it's actually a lot smaller than a tuba. So it's perfect for a primary student. It's even smaller than a euphonium. So baritone horn is a great size to start out with if you like to have that bass sound. Only 3 valves, so your fingers don't have to work out too much. Your mouth gets a little bit more of a workout because you need to buzz all of your pitch changes, but pretty simple, okay? Gonna have to listen carefully, and you're gonna have to match the pitches, same as all the other brass instruments. Who's gonna pick this one? I've asked you to do some other research on these instruments. That's because I'm not the best player at all of them. And I want you to be able to hear how it sounds with other people playing as well. Because maybe it doesn't sound good when I'm playing it, but maybe it sounds good when somebody else is playing it, and you actually really like the sound when somebody else is playing it. So I'm going to give you a series of links, and I want you to click on those links, and I want you to go and listen to those instruments and look at some of the pictures and read some of the information about each of those instruments before you make your decision. Keep in mind, you want to play what's best for you and not what your friend is playing. Maybe they're the same, but chances are it's different. My best friend played flute in high school. I played timpani, which is part of the percussion family. So you might need to think about whether or not what you're choosing is actually the best thing for you, or if you're just choosing it because your friend is choosing it. Okay? Okay, decision time. What are you wanting to play? And when I'm asking you that, what I'm really saying is, what do you want to practice every single day at home for 10 minutes, even when you're tired? And then what do you want to play here in class with me and everybody else? So have a think. Do you want to go with the brass family? Do you want to go with the woodwind family? Or maybe you're one of those percussion people. Fill out the Google form, and then you're done for today. It's going to be so exciting next week when everybody finds out what their instruments are. I can't wait.